I'm an indie comic creator who wants to give you something that only an indie comic creator can give. I've got a comic book right now called Echo Day 1. It's about a deaf juvenile who was thrown into a facility with other kids like him, but he plans on escaping in 7 days. Now, the comic's been out for a while, so it felt like an exciting time to talk about his ability. I haven't necessarily been hiding his ability. In fact, if people were paying close attention, they'd be able to already guess what his ability is. And that ability is, I've had Echo's powers in mind long before his name was ever typed out. And I have to give credit where credit is due. After watching Daredevil and reading more about the character, I couldn't stop thinking about one question. What if we did it the other way around? Daredevil's blind, yet his enhances allow him to build an impression of the world around him. You know what I mean? I thought that was such a fascinating concept. I couldn't stop thinking about it. It actually frustrated me to the point where I couldn't figure out how to make it work the opposite way. Now, around that same time, I developed a deep admiration for the deaf community. Their resilience, their adaptability, the obstacles that they navigate every day, that alone earned my respect. If I was going to create a character who represented such an underrepresented community, I wanted to make sure I understood what I was doing and built his abilities with intention. Then, when I was in school, I came across this video.
It's basically a metal plate attached to the top of a speaker. There's sand on top of the plate, and you play different tones through the speaker. The plate vibrates, which forms different shapes depending on the frequency of the sound.
Well, we blew up a lot of speakers with the Chladni plate. So there was a lot of experimenting around the Chladni plate, primarily looking at how much volume we can put through there, how much sand to actually put on the plate, and the different shapes of plates and what different patterns would be created because of those shapes.
This was the missing piece for me. The video explained that sound had structure. It has a physical pattern that we can't see, and once it's faint enough, we can't even hear it. Boom. That was it. I immediately started researching sound, how it travels, what it propagates through, and most importantly for this character, what is sound is energy. In fact, everything around you involves energy. Rub your hand together like those little flies. You feel that warmth? Congratulations, you just created heat from mechanical energy. When two objects collide, some of that energy is converted into sound waves, along with other forms of energy like heat and kinetic energy. Those sound waves travel through the air by causing the particles around them to vibrate. According to the law of conservation of energy, can't be destroyed or created. It can only be transferred or transformed. So, even after a sound becomes too quiet for us to hear, the wave doesn't simply just vanish. It continues to propagate, losing intensity as it spreads throughout the environment. That idea became the foundation for Echo's ability. Ironically, Echo doesn't have enhanced hearing, but with enhanced sight, I plan on using physics as the backbone of his power. I wanted to explore just how powerful something as simple as enhanced vision could be. At the end of the day, we finally get a glimpse of what Echo sees. He isn't hearing conversations from far away, he's seeing sound waves. Those faint vibrations that are invisible and sometimes even inaudible, they're visible to him. With over years of observation, his brain has learned to recognize these shapes, these frequencies, and patterns that each one of these sounds create. Once those patterns are paired with context, he no longer has to hear the sound to understand it. He reads it. Every voice, every footstep, it has a physical pattern that is almost the same every single time. In issue 2, I do plan on kind of deep diving more into, what his life was like before he was taken by guard, so we can really see how he moved around with his ability without any limitations or restraints by anyone. As the series progresses, he'll slowly discover just how truly capable he is. I'm excited to, see what everyone thinks of Echo, but I'm even more excited to see him evolve. As much as I'm writing his story, it often feels like the story is revealing itself to me. Pick up Echo Day 1 to experience the beginning of his journey and get your first look at his unique abilities.